out here with the Pt92 Af. See how this boy runs. About 15 yards. What the fuck? Okay guys, out here with the Pt92 Af. This is a full size Taurus Beretta clone, but we'll get more into that later. Let's do some shooting for now. It is cold. That's a nice shooting firearm. One more here. Whew. The fingies is cold. Big thank you to my wife, camera lady today. Freezing out here with me. Love you, honey.
I am.
Pretty big fan. Alright guys, so here we are on the table with the Pt92 Af. As I had stated, this is Beretta's 92 Beretta 92 clone. If you will, it's not so much a clone as it is a Taurus Beretta. Taurus purchased a Beretta factory and it had all the tooling and etc. And this is sort of the evolution of what came of that. They have a lower mounted safety instead of a slide mounted safety, but just about everything else, as far as I know, is relatively the same. Nice single double action trigger. When the hammer is cocked, it is very, very light, very nice. This gun is quite heavy, quite robust, all metal construction. This particular one you can see shows a little wear. I got this in a trade. I am extremely happy with this gun. I have never been an enormous fan of pistols in general, but this gun here has really, really changed my mind. It is easy to shoot and very accurate. Now when I say easy to shoot, like super easy to shoot, it's comfortable in the hand. It has a nice big grip that feels good. The weight feels good and secure in your hand. When you take your stance and your grip, there's a lot of real estate. You don't feel confused and lost. There's a lot of different positions in which you could have your hand or your thumbs, and it feels nice. Now with this flashlight, which is also quite a robust flashlight on there, it adds a little bit more weight to the front end and really does make for this gun a quite level shooter. I have never by any means professed to be a pistol expert, but with this pistol I can shoot with relative confidence. I was hitting more times than I was missing on a little 6-inch piece of steel. You know, I did some shooting in the video, I think at around 15 yards, and then I even had a little more fun myself. It was so cold out that the batteries kept dying on the cameras, but I walked it out to 30 yards and I could even hit this steel at 30 yards, and I couldn't believe that because I've never been able to do anything like that with a regular semi-automatic lightweight pistol. You know, all of our current market stuff you see is Glock type clones, you know, metal uppers, polymer lowers, you know, maybe with metal slides and stuff like that, you know, if you've got a nicer piece, but still very, very lightweight, and guns are becoming more and more compact, and, you know, there's a reason for that, the carry market, and I do still carry, you know, a smaller, more compact gun. This gun would not necessarily be ideal for concealed carry, but potentially for open carry. But what this gun is going to do is this gun is going to become the gun that is going to go into my battle belt. This gun is so much fun to shoot, and I enjoy it so much that I will be looking into all the types of guns in this realm. I am not a super huge pistol expert, nor, like I said, was a pistol fan, but this gun has changed my perspective so much on pistols that now I'm going to, every time when I see a gun of this sort, I am going to be interested in what makes this one different than that one. Does this one have a better trigger? Is this one higher quality? Because this is a Taurus. Now, like I said, it has a lot of take up, a little bit of take up there, but a good amount. And let's try to get this on screen for you the best I can. And then the action is quite long, but if cocked, you can see all that take up is gone there. But there's still quite a bit, and then almost no wall. You'll see it, you barely feel getting there, and then it's just the crispest little break. So when you have this thing running, because you're in the cocked position, and then it recocks itself, it really is just the smoothest shooter. Now, one little complaint would be that in that position, if there was possibly a little less take up there, if this was back here and it was just this quick little reset, that would be even better. I don't know much about these types of triggers and whatnot, if that's a possible thing, but it does seem that this is, obviously a older type of design. I'm sure there's more advanced, full size, full metal construction pistols of this weight and feel on the market currently today. But for the money that you can get these for, like I said, this one was used, I got it in trade. I believe full-on retail on these is somewhere in the $400 to $450 area, and you would not be disappointed if you had bought one and that's what you got. Now, I have seen some videos where people got the silver model that is not the Pt92 Af, it's just the Pt92. The Pt92 Af is sort of the tactical model with the underside Picatinny rail, and this one does have a metal rear sight. The ones I saw in these videos being reviewed by other people or talked about by other people had a plastic one in the rear, and they were, like I said, the silver model. I don't know if that's still the way things are, but some things on that gun seemed kind of cheap, like the chroming on some of the parts people had complained would chip off, and the plastic sights would have a tendency to move. Now, low budget type gun like a Taurus, we've all kind of heard things and gone back and forth on them. I can tell you right now, if you find a nice one of these in a good condition, a shooting condition, you would not be disappointed in it. The gun's breakdown is very easy. Like I said, have never had one of these before, but you just press in the button there, which releases the captive pin, and you rotate the disassembly lug there, and then your upper will slide off, and you will have your spring, your guide rod, and then here you'll have your barrel assembly, and this is also removable if you lift up on it slightly. And slide it out. And it's the same process to return it. Now, mind you, that can be a little bit frustrating. The first time I took it apart, it came apart rather easy, and getting it back together seemed rather difficult. It is all about having it in that correct upward position where this pin is not interfering with it. Now, reassembly, this is where you'd be at if you wanted to do all your cleaning. Your basic field strip. Also of note here, you can get these barrels a little bit longer with a threaded end. Very nice if you want to do potentially run a little compensator on the end of there. Now reassembly, you just drop it back in. Take your spring and guide rod and slide that back into place. Slide it back onto the firearm. Hold that to the rear, rotate your lug, and release. And there you are. That's all you have it. Now these magazines are nice. They're a 17 round capacity. I did not write Taurus on these a million times. Every single one of them I got from this guy says Taurus on them. But I got 3 magazines with it, and I can honestly say you're going to want them because this gun is a lot of fun to shoot and you will really, really enjoy yourself. If you notice in the video, the failure we had in the intro, which was not just created that way to be funny, was the Winchester Forge, which has become sort of a test for every firearm that we go through. I bought a box of 500 rounds of Winchester Forge, and if you're familiar with it, it's an incredibly rough cased ammo. Now, I bought it with the intention of just doing a bunch of shooting and shooting some cheap ammo. I did not know how bad this stuff was going to be and how disagreeable with most firearms it was going to be. So now it seems like, well, it doesn't seem like, with every gun I go out with, I load up at least 1 mag of that, just to kind of see how it's going to react to it. Some guns, believe it or not, will run it fine. You know, some guns will run it and have 1 or 2 hiccups, but it's kind of just a thing I do, at least until I get rid of the case of it. So, if you had noticed, the first mag was loaded with Winchester Forge, and the first round struck but did not even hit primer because the primer was pushed in slightly, not incorrectly seated in the casing itself. I later retrieved it from the snow and upon investigation discovered that. So not on the gun itself, it's run everything else, and it actually even ran the rest of that magazine. So excellent firearm. If you are a fan of guns with a little bit more of a, I suppose, like a classic appeal, because I suppose this is starting to become, you know, more of a classic, this would not disappoint you. I would say pick one up. It is a very, very interesting gun, and it is a very, very enjoyable gun to shoot. Believe it or not, I thought this was just going to be for me. It was big, it's heavy. My wife is very, very interested in this one. Every time I shoot, she says, oh, let me try that, because she sees how well I'm shooting it, where, you know, she's practicing with the FMK she purchased and, you know, still struggling with it. You know, the recoil impulse, the muzzle rise, you know, on a lightweight pistol is a lot greater than that of something with some weight to it, and that can build a lot of confidence in a new shooter. So a gun like this has a lot of purpose still today. So that is my thoughts on the Taurus Pt92. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it answered any questions you might have about it. If not, please leave a comment below and I will do my best to get back to you. Have a good one, guys.